I don't know, what would you do? Would you short SLERF? Would you short Bitcoin? Obviously SLERF is showing weakness here. Bitcoin is showing a little bit of resilience. Let's compare the rest. SLERF going up, Bitcoin going up. But actually SLERF has been going down ever since here. Ever since here. So SLERF's been going down. This kind of followed. Here Bitcoin was a lot more bearish. See that? Than SLERF. And then SLERF bounced back more. And now SLERF has pretty much given up the ghost. Majid, hi. How's it going? Ava, yeah. I'm not telling people what to do, but you can see what's going on for yourselves. I think what you wouldn't longing SLERF, we want SLERF to be like really bullish, don't we? That's kind of, you won't get the absolute low if you wait for that. That's the problem. That's the problem. People are okay with that, then just wait for SLERF to show some kind of bullishness while Bitcoin is going down or sideways. Excuse me. Every single time that SLERF looks like it's not bullish compared to Bitcoin, you see here, it goes up and up to there, whereas Bitcoin goes up to there. You see here, Bitcoin looks bullish. And what happens next? Down, down. Okay. Now here, SLERF looks more bearish, doesn't it? And then you get SLERF being bullish while Bitcoin is kind of going sideways. So you'd expect up. You get one down. But actually the price does go up. Yeah. It's a tricky one. It's something that we have to kind of keep on analyzing. And maybe someone has a way of creating some kind of rules to determine when and how the price is what with respect to each other, so that we can make decisions easier. But right now it's obvious that SLERF is kind of drooping a little bit. Yeah, you see that? I don't know if it's shorting. I think it's more just people just closing their longs. Yeah. And what could happen next? Well, let me go back to SLERF. Looking at Bybit derivatives. That was my idea at the end of yesterday's stream. Again, problematic in the sense that we didn't get to my point of interest. I would have liked to have gone there just to clear liquidity, you know, just to kind of make it easier to go back up. We didn't do that. So slightly more bearish than I had hoped. And I hope people aren't watching my videos and then shorting just because I said you should short. But I mean, it looks like it, right? It looks like people are just shorting or selling. I'm trying to build a long position here. I'm not actually shorting, but I'm just thinking maybe I should close my position and wait for it to play out. That's what I'm thinking. It's a tricky one because I know how difficult it is to build a big position, and I have a clear invalidation. So the key is, are you willing to lose what you, are you willing to lose if the price goes down there? That's the question. All right, let me have a look at this. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. I'm trying to not take too long because some people keep on complaining and I don't want to disappoint. So let me just hide all of that. I had this kind of arbitrary line here, which we've lost. Yeah. And, you know, you can see signs of weakness, right? We still haven't taken out this pivot. We are putting in swing failures every time. The problem with these swing failures are every time you do it, you just give it all back. You're not going up. You're just going up a little bit just to give it all back. It's just traders taking the swing failure and just quickly taking their profits. That's what's happening. Not necessarily short centering, not necessarily, but it's more traders just buying and then just selling. So the buy up isn't like someone trying to buy up and hold, it's someone trying to buy up and just sell into that swing failure. Obviously this is the big one here, this lowest pivot here. That will probably be an some kind of mini liquidation. I'd like to see what happens there. Yeah, and it might dump. Just be aware of that. Just because you might have a lot of longs with their invalidations here. If there's not enough liquidity to buy up the price underneath that pivot, then obviously the price will go down. That's just how it will work. And so I've got this Elliott wave idea. I can delete that now. Let me just delete these lines to clear it up a bit. Let me have a look at these counts. So I don't know if anyone's been doing this, but if anyone has, you know it's not easy. Yeah, you know it's not easy if anyone has been trying to do this, because it's so subjective. Which ABC do you take? I might actually just redo it. I like to redo things because it just helps you look at it differently if you redo it. So what I'm going to do is I won't delete my impulse because I think that's fine, and just have another look at the whole correction, right, to see if I can find an edge. Also, let me just pull that volume level to see what the volume is like here. Well, this is an interesting development. You can see now that the point of control has moved. Let me just backtrace. Oops. Has moved. You see that? So here the point of control is in the highs. Yeah. And now that I've moved this to here, you see the point of control is lower down now. So that's actually exactly what you want to see for a bull if you're bullish. Not only has the point of control moved, the value area has moved too, and we're in the value area. Before we were outside of the value area. Now we're in the value area. Yeah, I mean the price action is still looking droopy, but you see before yesterday where the value area was there at 3168 and the point of control was all the way up there at 3429. And now that all I've done is just moved it to the current price action. What it means is the volume that's come in since I did that pull yesterday till now has changed the profile of the volume of this local range. Basically this range above this first correction here. Yeah, this first correction here. And now you can see that the value area is at the golden pocket based on this pivot, and the point of control of this local range is at the lows, not at the highs, and the previous point of control is the value area high. That's kind of where we're at now. This is actually quite a good development, and it's not actually hard for the bulls to flip this into bullish. All they have to do is just get the price back above the point of control, flip it into support. We can squeeze up, and maybe we can head up to the value area high, clear up all of this. We still have some gaps here to fill. I'd like to fill those gaps. I still think it'll be a good place to short into the golden pocket. If you know, I still think it's a good place to short or take profit, and so that's just something to bear in mind. So that's quite good. I like to see that development. What else? Let me just continue counting so I can have a look. So what I usually like, I have different techniques for counting. If one doesn't work, I use another. And also I look at different time frames as well. And sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So like I said, if anyone has tried, it's not easy. It's not easy to count, and it's quite subjective, but this is quite interesting. So you see this is a higher time frame. This is a 12-hour time frame. Maybe I'll change it to 8. Let me see an 8. Get back to 12. I mean, you could argue 1, 2, 3 ABC. just on the 12-hour. Obviously, we haven't gone down yet all the way. But just, you know, that's basically an ABC. And break it down. And then when you go down, you're trying to kind of fine tune that. This is the 4-hour time frame. See, here it's a little bit difficult because after you put in your pivot there, where do you go next? Do you go all the way down here for the A, for the B, for the C? That's probably correct. From high to low, low to high, high to low. That's probably the right way to do it. High to low. Now, in the context of this price range, where is the low? Could it be to here? High to low, low to high, high to low, low to high, high to low, low to high, high to low, low to... So to there, or is it all the way up? ABC, 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 ABC. I mean, if this was correct, you're expecting an AB, BC. You know, it's not easy. I think you all get my point. Initially, I thought as well, maybe it's just A here, and it's just a B there and a C there. If we just ignore this little jig, then, you know, actually we're coming to an end. Yeah. So the question is, do you go up to there to go to down to here, or just go straight down? And that was it. Then it doesn't really matter if it goes to there or to there. High to low, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. That would complete. That would, in the context of this, that would be a WXY. But I mean, it's a little bit subjective, isn't it? To say the least. To say the least. Let me just do a fib time on that as well. Basically, you want this to end here tomorrow at 5 p.m. But I mean, I find it difficult to imagine that on Sunday at 5 p.m. we're going to get an impulsive move. You kind of would expect it in the morning or tonight. So Sunday people are just at home, fat finger buying SLERF. If we're going to have a pump, you'd expect it at the weekend, wouldn't you? Low volume. Just let's just squeeze those shorts. So just, and the other thing is, why is this stopping there? Why is it not going down to here? That's the other question. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Which is kind of what I was getting to before with this kind of some sort of pattern like that, like a zigzag like that. So I'm in many minds with SLERF. I do think we're forming some kind of zigzag correction. I do think this is a wave 2 of this initial wave. And nothing changes as far as the invalidation. If we make a lower low, take out that pivot, this whole idea is completely invalidated. And probably people will be potentially shorting, or maybe it'll be the one final liquidity grab before we actually have the real move. No one can predict the future, but if this low holds, then we're expecting a 5 wave up after this correction is complete. Okay, and that's how you predict the future, just by applying Elliott wave rules. So from that high to this low here, to see here, look at that. Let me tidy this up a bit. Lock it here, here, Where is it again? To there, that's precise. So the 618 is at 2957. I think it'll be quite bullish to just come into there and bounce and complete and finish. And obviously a 1-to-1 is all the way down here at 2762. That will take us to this red order block here, and it would also fill all of this gap here. Okay, and that would also complete. Yeah, and you kind of want that to happen by tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, that's kind of when you want it to happen. We either just want to go down here. Yeah, that would be fine. That'd be quite bullish, because you're only managing to go to the 618. You're not extending to the 1-to-1. This is a 1-to-1. That would still, our rules would still be in play here. Our Elliott wave rules. You make another low, we're heading down to one of these extensions, but then this whole thing, this whole Elliott wave count is invalidated. It just means that this is kind of probably the natural resistance, support based on fib extensions, based on this kind of trend. After we take out these lows, it will kind of come to rest again somewhere where these lows are. It might even come to this 1.618, take out these lows, it'll make a low. It'll be really bearish, but at the same time, it'll, again, you're looking, it's a good long opportunity, not necessarily for some kind of impulsive wave, because by here you have so much trap liquidity, and this bullish impulse has been invalidated. So let's say, for the sake of argument, we do end up down here, then the next rise will be people closing out their positions because they are trapped, or longs taking profit, and no one will be thinking we're going up now. People will then be thinking, okay, we're probably going down again, we're probably pushing down. Yeah, and this becomes our lower high, lower low, but basically everything looks bearish. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't expect it. I'm still while we're kind of in this idea, I'm still thinking that we correct to go up, and I do like that the point of control has moved down in this local range. I do think we probably could go down a little bit to this 2957. Let me have a look. Yeah, so SLERF is continuously going down. The other thing to bear in mind is we are in this kind of range. We're coming to this value area low. So even though I've imagined it going down, we are coming into support. I mean, it might just kind of bounce here, come back up to the point of control before it does something, and obviously effectively what you'll be looking at here is a sweep of the lows into 2957. What's the price now? I'm just looking at it. 3049. Cactus. What's the long-term target for SLERF? I mean, it's a good question, right? No one really knows the long-term target. I mean, it isn't a Solana meme coin, which has a lot of interest. There's a lot of interest in it. EW correction. I mean, technically, I can tell you technically, just based on some kind of easy analysis. Yeah, I can do that. And the assumption, excuse me, there's a few assumptions here. And obviously I'm using the Bybit chart. I'm not using any other chart. And so each chart has its own kind of petty nuances. But without going into too much detail, you just do a fib extension from the pivot high to the pivot low on the log time frame. Sorry, the log scale. And some simple extended targets would be just based on that range, based on this range. And these are the simple extended targets: 2.6, 3.47, 1.618 would be extended. That would be 5.275. And fundamentally, the problem with this token is that there's quite a high amount of volume that's been trapped in this descent. But we do know that SLERF has the potential to pump. Yeah. And so that's the good thing. So when we're looking at the pump that happened a few days ago, yeah, it literally sliced through everything. It sliced through levels like they didn't exist. Obviously it's come back to test, that's fine, but SLERF does have the potential to pump once the market is buying. Okay. And so that for me, that just gives me the idea that these targets are I think these targets are going to be destroyed, to be honest with you, because once you get above the high somewhere there, then I think it will just really go a bit too crazy. It'll be beyond craziness. Yeah. And potentially the longer we kind of consolidate here, the more bullish this becomes, because it's off everyone's radar. And also you know that a lot of other meme coins have been pumping. So it's very easy for a lot of these people who've made a lot of money from other coins to quickly rotate their capital once they start seeing SLERF rallying. Okay, so I think there's a lot of potential here. I can't tell you what the targets are, but I think in the short-term targets after price discovery, we've got some easy fib extended targets. And the other way that I'm looking to kind of analyze this will be to see if the Elliott waves form. So I have to see what happens here, because I don't know if this was the wave one, which I've talked about. If we do see another impulse and another impulse here, and if we do hold this high as a support and we see another impulse, it's going to be a lot easier to do trend-based fib targets. Yeah, and then you have your wave one, look for a wave two. Once you have that kind of idea, let's just say for the sake of argument, yeah, I'm just making this up, I don't know, but let's just say for the sake of argument, we go to the value area high, the Bybit value area high, it's up here. I mean, it really wouldn't be enough, to be honest with you. Because the thing is, if you have 5 waves here, and that's as far as you get, as soon as you come back underneath the high of this move here, this whole wave one is invalidated, and this becomes your wave one, effectively. Just simply because of the rules that wave 4 can't come underneath the wave 1. So if you only manage to get up to the Bybit value area high, and then you'll have a pullback all the way to the point of control, then you've literally invalidated this first wave. This whole thing is your first wave. Yeah, and that's how it works. And so that's why you have to keep on updating your count. If you push up higher, somehow up to the high numbers there, and then you've managed to come back down only to backtest that, to confirm that as the top of wave 1 for the end of wave 4, you have a wave 5, then obviously that is your wave 1. So we don't really know until it happens let's just say for the sake of argument, that was your wave 1. We are in a wave 3, and we do have a wave 4 that takes us back down to this pivot high. I think it's unlikely, but you never know. Then this becomes your wave 1. And so looking at, I don't know why I've got 2 radian pox here. I have no idea whether I've marked them 2 radian pox, but let's just say for the sake of argument, we go up to 9.4, all the way up to 9.4. Let's say we finish at 9.4. Whatever happens, we finish there. That's your wave 1. And let's say the correction brings us all the way back down to the point of control. Then you can have trend-based fib targets from the 1 to the 2, from the 0 to the 1 to the 2. And that will help, because like just based on these ratios, you can see that this figure here, can't read it, 1.618 extension on this trend-based fib lines up with the 1.618 of the extension of the initial range. You see that? So if we did somehow have a wave 1 that goes up to there and a wave 2 that comes all the way down to here, then you can see that in price discovery you've got really nice confluence at $5.2, and therefore that would be probably your next target for a higher time frame free. You'd be looking to aim, that will be your target. And actually that will be your big, you might find resistance in the way, but that will be your big resistance, so therefore that will be your main target. Does that make sense? And so what you're looking for is confluence of fibs, but it becomes a lot easier to map out that confluence once you see the waves and once you've correctly marked out the waves, because then you can use the trend-based fib tool to calculate those extended targets. And then if you see the confluence, that will give you the confluence. And so there's different ways of kind of calculating the confluence. You can do it on the wider waves, or you can do it on the sub waves too. Okay, and so in the higher time frame, I have no idea. I think it depends really. I mean, if Dogecoin was to go back up to $1 or 70 cents, whatever it was, and Bitcoin is pumping, I don't think it would be out of the realms of possibility for SLERF to potentially get up to, look at it, it's at 150 now. 100x is $15 billion. 100x, 15 billion. Somewhere between 10 to 15 billion in the context of some kind of crazy pump or season. 100, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. The current price, that would be $30. Yeah, and maybe you know, maybe getting on Binance would help with that. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. One final dip next week, says John J. Mackay. Right. So again, with SLERF, we're still correcting. It's quite hard to build along when the price is going down. That's kind of why I said at the top, short, don't long, short. But you know, again, what do? When you're building a position, you're not going to be always in. It's difficult. The key is your invalidation. Once you have your invalidation, you're not going to be, for a portion of the time, you're going to be underwater. And that's why you have to build a position. You have to scale in and see if the correction ends the way you want it to end. If it doesn't, then the first opportunity, if you see a change of behavior and you see that this is actually starting to look really weak, then you have to look to scale back a little bit, you know, especially if you're leveraging. So this is kind of where I'm at the moment. At the moment we're here, and again, it's the same idea that I've had since the beginning, some kind of zigzag, and it's just I haven't been able to obviously pick out the tops and the bottoms of this correction, I don't think anyone really can, but like I said, this is a combination of ABCs, down, up, down, some kind of WXY, and a bullish a bullish kind of drop here would be somewhere at this high volume node. I think that's kind of what I'm aiming for right now, for a reaction, for a big reaction. Let me see how far that comes again. Did I delete my trend-based fib? No. No, I did. Is it that one? No, it's time. What about that one? Yeah, that's kind of exactly where you want to buy, probably. 2657, that's a high volume node. It is 2661, 2961, 2957. That'll be the the 618 of this trend based fib extension on this corrective move, and that lines up with the high volume node. That will be on the underside of this golden pocket, and while that will be a kind of a good place to see shorts take profit, the confirmation for a reversal here is going to be obviously for the price to get back above these lows, get back into this market structure. Yeah, so if we do kind of go down here now, I'll get a reaction, hopefully. What you want to see is you want to see the price get back into this structure. Yeah, once you get back into this structure, and then what you want to see is, do we impulse? Do we get an impulse? Are we impulsing now? Yeah, or are we still correcting? And the correction can always still continue. You've done this. If you've done this, what's next? Well, you could still go down. You know, it could be different. It could be A, B, C, you know, D, E. You know, it could be something like that. You could go up, find resistance, and still go down, just to form a much deeper correction, some kind of triangle like that. So I mean, this is just one idea, like I've always said, but we won't really know that when the correction's over until we see the impulse, and that's what we're trying to catch. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm kind of thinking, keep on longing until we hit our target zone. As we come up, I'll probably scale back my long and take profit, just in case we go up just to come back down again. And unless I start seeing some kind of impulsive move. Yeah, if I start seeing some crazy impulsive move, like beyond impulsive, obviously then I'm gonna not do that. But if we are correcting and we come down here, have a reaction, get back into the structure, go up only to find resistance, then I'll be thinking to myself, okay, we probably might need to go down again. And again, the problem is, how far down do you go? Well, we bounce there, you know, it could just go right back down to take the lows. One more time, doesn't bounce there. It could continue all the way down to the one-to-one extension, fill the rest of this gap, get everyone really bearish. But you want the moves to be fast. Yeah, I want the move to be fast. I don't want it to be slow. So this is quite a fast drop, but it's not as fast as this. This is the kind of drop that we want, kind of big drops, because that's then when the price goes up, has a chance to explode up. All right, so that's kind of SLERF right now. And yeah, again, just for the future, just so you know, the reason why it's better to short from these highs is exactly why. Well, you can see it zigzags, the price goes down. That's why it's better to short. And if the bears finally win, if the bears are really in control, and we do go down and take out this low, then actually the shorts, it was always better to short. Yeah, we won't know that until we see what happens, and that's what it is. It's like the shorts, people who are bearish, they're shorting. They want to take out that low because that's their payday. Now, if you're bullish and you're longing, what you want to do is you want to absorb all the shorts so that the balance changes and squeeze the shorts so that we can go up, and that will be our payday. Yeah. And you almost have to play both sides, otherwise you're trapped. And if we do impulse up from wherever we impulse up, I really, again, it's the same thing that I've always said. I think the target is going to be there. It's going to be the range point of control, 41.8. And I'd like to see that, actually. I'd like to see that. Now, that would be wave 3 of this move. There'd probably still be another wave. Yeah. If we do go down here and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then what you'd be looking for is for the top of this level to hold a support, probably the radian val, a bit higher up, for some kind of correction, for another push, for the final push. And the most important thing about this kind of potential move is, and this is the question, I mean, I don't even know. I've said that it's possible that this was the wave 1, but remember the rules still apply. So if we have a wave 3 now and it stops here, if you have a 5 wave move and it only stops let's say, for the sake of argument, we have another wave and another wave, right? And we stop here, then the problem is that for this whole thing to be valid, you now kind of need to hold that as support. And I don't know if that's going to happen. And if that doesn't happen and you get some kind of correction like this, yeah, then you can, this whole idea as a wave 1 is invalidated, and then this is your wave 1, because the rule for wave 4 is that it can't come underneath the top of wave 1, which at the moment we're potentially considering somewhere here. Okay, and so that's why this is a developing story. You know, this is the developing, the analysis that continues. It does never ends. Never ends. All right. Any questions on SLERF? A little drop now. It's amazing. I'm not trying to pull down SLERF, like, I'm really not. Yeah. And it's a lot harder to execute than analyze. I can tell you that. It's actually quite easy for me to sit on my uncomfortable chair and tell you that this is going down. It's a lot harder. Like, Gary was telling me, Amir, you should be a multimillionaire right now. Maybe I am. You never know. I drive a nice car and I have a few properties, but when it comes to crypto, even I haven't found the knack to print money like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, trading is not easy. Risking 1%, capturing your profit, taking profit, looking for the next trade, trying not to FOMO in, trying to execute. It's not easy. It's really not easy trading. And it's always the same, you know, you do something and you doubt yourself. You know, last night I was shorting, and every time I short, the price came up. It's not easy. Even for me, it's not easy. Just because I had this idea, which is pretty much playing out. Not exactly, but it's pretty much playing out. I missed this one, didn't I? We saw it was bullish. I didn't know there was going to be we kind of anticipated something, but I missed it. I missed the you know, I did catch some of it, but I didn't go, I wasn't crazy positioned in, which I normally am. And, you know, and this one, you know, I was shorting, but I didn't hold my shorts long enough. So we're all humans, though. We all have we all have have to face our demons, so to speak. I'm just trying to see if there's anything going on here. Oh, what did I do with that one? What am I looking at? Those. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, look, this is a swing failure. That's a swing failure. Not a really strong reaction, but there's quite good volume. And what I've noticed is these volumes get reversed, but it doesn't mean that we're going to have higher highs or buy up. What you can see is there's clearly some kind of trend here, yeah, and that has to break. Until it breaks, the price is still kind of going to bleed. And what you're seeing here are longs closing. So you've still got people positioned in from lower down. They're still in profit. They're just closing their longs now. They're kind of feeling really depressed because they've given up all of their profits to the market and they haven't taken any profit, and they don't know if the price is ever going to go up. So let's just see what the price does at 2961. How far away are we? Quite far from it, huh? Still, we're quite far from that level. Yep. Cactus, what about all the problems SLERF had with the burn liquidity? A lot of people might feel dirty. I think they've paid back almost everyone now. Almost. What they did is that I think it was BitGet who offered to contribute to the refund package from the trading fees from their platform. And I think they've raised most of the money and they've been giving people refunds. And then a lot of people, they gave them a choice. So you could take your refund, or you could take you could buy an NFT. So initially they had 1,600 to be released, but if anyone who had funded the pre-sale didn't want to take their money back, they could swap it for, in terms of the value, 5 Solana, I think it was. They could, 5 Solana. They could swap it for an NFT. So naturally you can see that nearly 900 and is it 945 extra NFTs have been sold because people, instead of taking a refund, they took an NFT instead. Okay, so I think all in all it's been quite good. Here it says 96.8. This hasn't changed in a while, so I do imagine that by now it's been paid back, hasn't it? Right, that's what I think. And also they've announced on where is it? Not there. See, look, minting 4th of June, 14th of June, June the 14th. There's a lot of things. They're quite active, and they're obviously quite rich, and they're doing quite a lot of stuff. Yeah. So let's see what happens. I think of all the meme coins, this is, I like it. You know, quite active. And it does give confidence to crypto when you have such a fumble. Someone burns $10 million, and yet the community rallies together to get everyone their refund. I think that's quite a positive vibe. People like that kind of stuff. So obviously the price action is bearish. How do you buy this? You scale in, or you wait for the high volume node to be hit. One or the other. let me just compare it with Bitcoin and see how Bitcoin is. Look, you can see that Bitcoin is kind of holding tight. SLERF is dropping, unfortunately. Yeah, a lot of people in SLERF are just they're closing their positions now. I'm wondering if Bitcoin is going to drop now, actually, just looking at this. It kind of gives me that vibe, no? Gives us that vibe. Because look how Bitcoin is kind of doing this, something like that. Is Bitcoin going to do that? And is SLERF going to actually really drop? Yeah, I don't know. Could do. So I'm not trying to scare people. Obviously, I want people to make money and do well. And I'm still thinking bullish, you know. And the hard part is, how do you build a long without looking at your negative equity? And that's the thing. So you can follow some traders. They won't try and build positions like this. They will. They don't tell you. A lot of these good traders, they don't tell you the bad trades that they make. They only tell you the good trades. They only talk about the good trades. They don't talk about the bad mistakes. And you look at these traders online and you'll think, oh my god, these are really good traders. How did they do it? They'll tell you they'll risk 1%, they'll take their profit in the first 5 minutes, and they're billionaires. Yeah, the reality is that they're not being honest with most people. A lot of these big traders are also high risk traders, and what they'll do is they'll have really wide invalidation points and they'll just scale in. There'll be negative equity for a large period of time, and then when the market turns, they'll be in shitload profits. And all it is that they're extremely low leverage. They're like 2-3x, and their liquidation point is basically zero, basically. Yeah. And they don't tell you that. They make you think that they're really good traders because they can trade. Obviously they can trade. They risk 1%. They have an invalidation. They take the profit quite quickly and let the rest run, and they make you think that that's how they became rich. But most of these big traders didn't become rich that way. Most of them were just scaling in, maybe spot or very low leveraged on a lot of altcoins, and they watch their portfolios grow as with everyone else. Most people make money that way. Yeah. And so what I've noticed with a lot of traders, and that's kind of why I do things slightly differently. Yeah, what I've noticed with a lot of traders is that they're good traders, but they are very bad predictors. Yeah, they're very bad at predicting the market. And what I'm trying to do in my kind of technical analysis is I'm trying to predict the future. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hone that skill where I can look at the price action based on all the levels which I think will cause the price to react, and I'm doing it slightly differently. So I don't know if it's easy to it's just as hard to trade when you can predict the future, or if you can predict the future or not. It's just as hard. But I see a lot of traders say they don't know what's going to happen, they have no idea, and they have a few trade plans. They take their trades and they make, they gloat and they say, oh yeah, I knew it was going to happen. They say exactly as predicted. They have like 5 ideas, one of them works, and then they gloat and they say exactly as predicted, right? And it's not right, because it makes people think that these people know the future, and they don't. No one really does. But what we do have are tools which helps us to see where the price can find support and find resistance. Yeah. And we use those tools, and then we come to the conclusion that the price can and can't do certain things at certain places. Yeah. Always knowing in the back of our mind that the price can do whatever the hell it wants. Yeah. So there's always a caveat for that exception. And when you have that kind of analysis mindset, you can actually start to predict the future. You can actually start to guess the path. Okay, and I think that can help most people, because most people aren't going to be able to trade the way certain traders trade. But when it comes to spot, it's really easy. Just buy spot. You just buy at the right places and you sell at the right places. And I think most people, that's all they really want to do. They don't really want to over leverage. So I think if that is kind of what I'm trying to do, trying to help the average Joe know good places to buy and good places to sell. And then people can just incorporate those ideas of good places to buy and good places to sell into their own risk appetite. I mean, on SLERF, it's looking like a swing failure at the moment. Not crazy volume into that low. Yeah. But enough volume to potentially be reversed here. Now, the question is, you know, what did I have? What did I mark off? That's not it. Just slightly into the golden pocket. Where's the other one? What's that one? There you go. Let me just see how the timings work on this. Let me have a look at this. Hold on a second. How many bars was that? From there to there? 106 or so. From there to there, 114. It's actually longer here than there. Interesting. But about the same length. So I think tomorrow. I think the correction ends tomorrow. So I think, based on this C is obviously continuing. No? What do you think? Any feedback from anyone? Am I alone here? From high to low to high to low to high. Where's the high here? There. To low. That's the low. That's the high. This is the low, right? It's the high. That would be bullish. This would be bearish, but they're both technically bullish. But I mean, when I say bearish, I mean this is like a 1-to-1. The current price action. Well done. And what you could get here, so this is something to bear in mind. If the price does come here and kind of holds, you could just get a little kind of reversal pattern form here. Yeah. So if we come here and just kind of hold here, it would feel bearish because we're on top of support, consolidating. But then what you want to see is you want to see some kind of push up, some kind of break up to the upside. That's what you want to see. In terms of timing, though, it looks like it should happen tomorrow at 5 p.m. That will be before the week closes. Yeah. And also something to bear in mind when people are looking at this is that when you look at the monthly time frame on SLERF, we have a brand new monthly level. Yeah. And we're into it right now. Can you see that? This monthly level is this bottom of these two candles, this red and this green candle at the bottom. And right now the price is into the monthly level. Yeah, it is a monthly level. It is a higher time frame level. So you don't necessarily expect the price to do what it wants to do immediately, but that level is a strong level. Yeah, even though the candle has just been formed, we're into the monthly level. We could go lower, and potentially we could go, you know, we can go, I mean, really realistically you can go as low as you want, as the price wants, but obviously just in the context of what I've been talking about, I don't really want to go lower than here, than this pivot here. Okay, that's all the way down at 2700 thereabouts. When you look at the monthly time frame, 2700 would put us lower than halfway down into the wick. Sometimes you do get the price come all the way into the wick, kind of try to get to halfway before you get a kind of buy up. All right, so I'm just kind of looking at this monthly. Probably we're looking to go down a little bit lower, probably. Yeah, just bear that in mind when you're kind of trying to do whatever you're doing, building a position or whatever. If you're over leveraged, just take it easy. Don't overdo it, don't go crazy, or hedge so you don't lose if we do get a drop. But just bear in mind that what I've been saying, it hasn't happened exactly, but it is happening. You can see that, right? It hasn't happened exactly the way that I've imagined, but it is happening somewhat similar. I've obviously deleted all my shit, but if I go back to my channel and start having a look at these videos, I don't know why that hasn't updated. It should be the updated one. This should be the latest one. How do I sort this out? Publish newest. 11 days ago. Why is this playlist not working? Oh, there it is. Okay. Here, that's the one, isn't it? Yeah, so I was kind of imagining something like that, right? I had it coming higher up. Obviously, that was a mistake. And look, A, B, C. I was imagining some kind of, no, wasn't I? Let me just compare it because I've deleted this now, so I have no idea what I was doing. What timing did I have there? At the end of the month. Yeah, I had it slightly different actually. 6180 from that pivot to that one. Let me have a look at that. 618. So I had it from this pivot to this pivot without the last one. Let me have a look at that again. 618. What's interesting that it's really interesting fib time. Like if you guys aren't familiar with it, you should try and mess about with it. From this pivot to this low, you double click, the 618 gave you the low, and then the 1-to-1 almost gave you the pivot high there. If you just if you just continue the trend to that pivot, the 1-to-1 is coming tomorrow in the afternoon. And then this was my idea. From the video a few days ago, a couple of days ago. Let me just kind of match them up. It's kind of done what I've done. I said, if you look at them, no? The A, the B, look, I just made that up. The C, the A, the B, down to there. Yeah, it's kind of done it, hasn't it? What do you guys think? Because we were up there, we dropped, and we were here, And look, I said A, B, C, A, B, and then so the only thing that it hasn't done is this extended this X hasn't gone as far as I hoped. Yeah. The reason why I wanted to go higher was to clear the liquidity. And so instead of going all the way up there, it's kind of fallen short. And yeah, that's not bad, huh? I should pat myself on the back. I just wish I'd, you know, I just, again, analyzing is a lot easier than executing. Trust me, it's a lot easier to analyze than execute. But some people might find execution easier and analysis harder. But that's quite good, huh? I think that's quite good. My prediction wasn't too bad. So that gives me confidence. And so this is, you're like, I'm not like, honestly, I'm not trying to blow my own ego, because I'm always continuously trying to improve my talent and my art and my craft. But what this does do is it gives me confidence. Yeah, confidence about the next move. Yeah, because the fact that I've been able to kind of do this helps me to contemplate the end with more confidence. Yeah, and as I said to you guys before, for me this would be as far as it goes without taking out the low. Yeah, this 1-to-1 on this WXY all the way down to 2756, and I'd want to see a fast drop tomorrow. I wouldn't want to see a slow move. It's been quite, this latest drop has been quite steep. I think it's unlikely that we lose this high volume node easily, because high volume nodes are like points of control. And what could easily happen is that we come into this high volume node, we're putting enough volume to flip the high volume node into the point of control. Okay, so that's the other thing that I have. Shall I? I'll save that because I actually like that. That's quite pretty. Yeah? This is my prediction, and this is, I should kind of screenshot this. I'll screenshot that. If anyone wants it, I'll send that to David. He's David's on half term with his family, so he's obviously not here, letting me to fend for myself. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, the volume. So let me just have a look at the volume node. There's a high volume node there. This is on the overall range. I'm using Bybit. Yeah, so I know a lot of people are trading on Radium because it's highly liquid, but the reality is that Bybit has the most volume. Yeah, and if you doubt me, don't. Just go to markets on CoinGecko, have a look at spot, do a search by volume. You see that HTX has 28% of the volume, Gate has 22%, BitGet has 20%, and the volume on the 24-hour volume on the spot market is 12 million on HTX. Radium is low at 3.8 million. You see that? So Radium actually doesn't have high volume. It's got high liquidity, but it hasn't got high volume. So if you're trying to buy and sell, do it on Radium, but the volume is actually in the other markets. And then when you look at perpetuals, you'll see that Bybit Futures has 10 million, 23% of the volume on perpetuals. So at the moment, when you're looking at the volume, you can see that HTX is leading the volume. Bybit is a close second. But the reason why I'm not using HTX, people are wondering, why are you not using HTX then? I've got it here on my charts. But HTX, for some reason, have a bizarre way of printing candles, and their timings are all wrong. Okay, so I can't answer the why. I don't know why, but you see these candles are all wrong because their start time is different from what it should be. You see here, start time is 5:55. Look, these 12-hour candles shouldn't start at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. They should be starting at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Yeah, and so that's why these, you can't use HTX, because the candles are all wrong. I love candles. I think candles are really important. Yeah, if people don't use candles, it's their loss really. And so naturally, when I'm looking at candles, they have to be correct, and I'm not getting the right information from HTX. Okay, I am on Bybit. I'm getting proper levels, correct levels on Bybit. It's enough volume to justify using Bybit. So that's why I'm using Bybit for analysis. And so let me just I'll ignore the last 4 hours. I'll do a volume range pull on the 4-hour time frame. Value area high is slightly lower. Point of control is still where it is. Okay, now this is what I'm interested to know. This is what I'm interested to know. As we approach this high volume node here now, yeah, can we, when I say we, I mean people who are buying and selling SLERF on Bybit, can they put in enough volume at this high volume node to flip the point of control to the lower part of this range? You can now clearly see that the point of control is here, right? That's the highest volume node of this whole range. And this high volume node that we're about to kind of approach right now is not far behind. I'm kind of, let's see, look, this is coming all the way to here, and here we're all the way to here. See that? So this is the question. If we can put in enough volume to bring the volume of this high volume node above the point of control, and then the price is holding the point of control, well, you couldn't get a more bullish signal than that. That is bullish, as long as we hold it as support. Yeah, as long as we hold it. That's always, don't ever forget that. And that's what I'd like to see now. I'd like to see if that happens. And it could happen. We could get a little bit of a dump here, a lot of selling, a lot of buying, fill the rest of this candle, back test this SR flip. There's a little SR flip here going, you can see that. And maybe we find support. And if we do hold support, if we do put in enough volume here to flip it, then maybe we could have our impulsive move. Okay. And the impulsive move, what I would like is, I would like to see us go to the high volume node, in the next high volume node, in one go. That would naturally be a good place for the price to find resistance. And again, it's the same, like people are wondering, well, how is this going to play out? Again, it's the same. This is the wave. This is the first 5 waves. You were having potentially having a zigzag. Now we're looking for another 5 waves. You could have another zigzag, but that's in the subset of the waves. You can have another, this becomes the invalidation. You could have another zigzag, but then you are looking for the next wave, next impulsive wave. Again, another 5 waves. Yeah. Then the same rules apply. That's the top. The correction then can't come underneath the top of the one. And then you have another 5 waves, and that whole arm becomes your next bullish impulsive wave, the wave 3. This is the wave 1. This becomes your ABC wave 2 zigzag. Then you're looking for a 5 wave up, following exactly the same rules. And then you've completed your wave 3, possibly up to the range POC, the range point of control. And then if you have some kind of wave correction for a wave 5, that's the top of your 1. You can't come underneath that. Some kind of correction. Again, same idea. ABC, could be anything. More likely to be, or whatever. It can be anything. I'm not going to predict that because I have no idea. And then you're looking for the final wave, another 5 waves. Okay. Now, I think that's all still in play. And obviously the question is, how far? Once it happens, how far and where do you find resistance? And the key then is just to count. We just have to count, 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 count. And at the right place at the right time, take your profit or hedge, you know, and that's kind of, and then just rinse and repeat and just keep on looking for the next clues. Again, we've kind of, and I wonder how this is going to play out. Okay, could we slow bleed down to here? Let's look at slow bleed. Could we go up? And I don't know. Who knows? No one really knows. No one really knows. But then Gary's going, wait a minute, you did. All right.